Smart remarks. I'm Joe the plumber. I've come to fix the sink. So the final presidential debate was last night, and John McCain was feisty. He was feisty! But if you watched his face while Obama was talking, it was the most amazing thing. He either had this smirky grin going on, or you could see that he could barely conceal his anger. He wanted to grab Obama by the throat and say, "You little punk, you're going to challenge me? I've served this country. I've got a record. This country owes me!" It was pure bile, and it was pure contempt, and it was the functional equivalent of Al Gore's heavy sighs in 2000. It might also be the final nail in McCain's coffin. But Republicans, of course, they don't understand this. On CNN after the debate, Bill Bennett was all happy, saying the country saw a distinct difference between the two candidates tonight. One was liberal and one was conservative. And I thought, for guys like Bennett, they just don't get it. It's as if the last 8 years never happened, as if George W. Bush never existed. Even now they think if only McCain had been more conservative, he could have won this thing. But McCain's connection with conservatism is why he's losing this thing. Now, let's be clear. John McCain is not a conservative like Rush or Hannity, but he picked a very conservative running mate, and over the course of the past couple weeks in particular, he's run a very conservative campaign. He's gotten down in the mud talking about Ayers and Acorn and terrorism and everything but the actual issues. He's tried to make character an issue in this race, as the Republicans always do, and it hasn't worked. The more mud he flings, the lower he sinks in the polls. Now, you could say this has a lot to do with the economy, and maybe that's correct. But what conservatives miss is that in the public mind, last 2 times around, they elected a conservative. George W. Bush. Remember him? He remains synonymous with conservatism in the public mind, and with good reason, because until recently, guys like Rush and Hannity were holding him up as the pinnacle of conservatism. But George W. Bush is a failure, and so, in the public mind, is conservatism. Right-wingers have always assumed the country is as conservative as they are. They've always been wrong, but never more so than now. Now, after nearly 8 years of conservative rule, the country blames conservatism for its problems. But as usual, the personal responsibility crowd isn't going to take any actual personal responsibility for this. You know what? Let them stay their course. Let them push McCain into running an even dirtier campaign, one even less focused on the issues. And when it doesn't work, let them claim that if only they'd been running the show from the start, the GOP would have won. It'll tear the Republican Party apart. Grab your popcorn. It should be fun to watch.